Now that we've got our list of requests available, we now need to somehow display them on the screen. So as a reminder, we definitely want to display all these as essentially a table, like so. As usual, we're not going to build the table out ourselves. Instead, we'll use Semantic UI React to see if there is not a table component that we can just make use of to get a nice looking table automatically created for us. I'm going to change back over to my Semantic UI documentation. I'll find the collection section, and then inside there, I'll look for table. So here's the table documentation. We don't need a fancy table. We really just need the most bare bones plain table available. So here's the very first standard table available. And if I check out the code, we'll see a good example of how to put it together. So we need to import this table component from Semantic UI React, and then we're going to place like table.header, table.row, table.headerCell, table.body, and so on. So let's start to import table from Semantic UI, and I think we could at least get started by creating the header component inside of our requests index component. Let's do that right now. Back over at my code editor, I'll find my Semantic UI React import tag, and I'll make sure that I import table from that as well. Then down inside of my render method, here it is right here, I don't really feel like writing out table.header and table.row over and over and over again. So instead, I'm going to do a little bit of ES2015 destructuring. So I'll say const header, row, header cell, and body. So those are all properties that I'm going to pull off of my table tag. Now I can use all these to create the header inside of the actual JSX that we have right here. So underneath my link tag, I'm going to add on a table. And like I just said, all we really need right now is our header. So I'll place a header tag. Inside there, we'll place a row. And then we can start to create a couple of different header cells. Let's get a quick reminder of what all the different headers are that we need by looking at our mockup very quickly. So back over at my mockup, we want ID, description, amount, recipient, approval count, approve, and finalize. All right, so let's copy paste this thing down a couple times just so we don't have to retype header cell again and again. At the top, we can place ID, then description, amount, recipient, approval count, approve, and finalize. All right, so let's save this very quickly. We'll flip over to the browser and see how we're doing. So if I go back over to my browser, I should immediately see my table appear on the screen. And yeah, it definitely looks pretty reasonable at this point. So let's pause right here. We're going to come back in the next video and start to write out all the different rows that we need to represent for each request from our campaign.